Bienvenidos a Midnight's Edge en Español, where we are Español and Midnight at the same time. Todos bienvenidos. We had early comings. So we had FKHC 2005. Bienvenidos y hail todos. Acá teníamos a Latinos Land, el jefe Poli. También tenemos el gran amigo Jusfult. Perdidos por ahora, toditos. No tantos pedidos, ojalá. But we will see. Hola a todos, dice Carlos Alfredo López. Sí, T-Bot Martin nos dice Midnight Edge. We got Griffin. Hey there, Fletcher. Won't be here to chat, but it will be there lurking and working. I know, bro. Thank you so much for being here, man. And then we got Monkey Jeebus. Dude, you're in the jam. That's what you are. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us and having some fun. Lily is powdering her nose, but she should be here in a little bit. La primera historia que tenemos es que los anillos del poder. Yes, the awesome Rings of Power. And it reads, Rings of Power adds new ringsmith to the Sauron web of intrigue. I know you say, what rings of intrigue? Well, it looks like we're going to have a new character. Amelia Kensworth will play Miranda, a protege of the smith who made the Rings of Power. Ooh, I know. And as we look at her here, we see that she definitely looks like a smith. You know, somebody who works with grime and steel and all kinds of stuff. But, or maybe not. Maybe she just came out of the fair. Don't know. We're going to see what she's up to. Amazon is getting wedding fans whistles for the next season of The Lord of the Rings. Oh, my gosh. Do you know we're almost like a month away? Revealing new details and teases in advance to show San Diego Comic-Con panel this weekend, which is why Polygon is happy to exclusively reveal some details of the new edition of the sprawling cast of the J.J.R. Tolkien adaptation. Is it really J.R. Tolkien adaptations? What do you guys think? We'll see. So Miranda, played by Amelia Kensworth. Miranda, according to Amazon Studios, is the protege of master craftsman Celebrimbor, played by Charles Edward in season 1, whom we saw with Galadriel, Elrond, forge the 3 elven rings of power in the season finale. Now, but Amazon statements continue that Miranda's loyalty will be tested. Dun, dun, dun. Loyalty will be tested when an unexpected visitor arrives in Eregion, with the potential to alter the destiny of the elven smith forever. That's keeping pretty vague with the Lords of Ring lore. That's plenty to read between the lines, as Tolkien wrote it. The 3 elven rings were forged for Celebrimbor, and the 1 ring was forged by Sauron. But the 7 rings of the dwarves and the 9 rings of men were joint project by both of them, after being tossed out of proper elven society for his bad vibes. Sauron put on helpful guys, yes, approved the elven smith in the region of Arion, whose judgment was clouded by the ambition to create great works of craft. Celebrimbor in particular wanted to live up to the legacy of his grandfather, Fëanor, the best elf smith and worst person to ever walk Middle-earth. Ooh. So what do you guys think about this? You think this is going to be the bestest smith ever? Is she going to is she going to tell Celebrimbor what to do? And basically go like, oh, well, you could have done this better, but, it the ring needs a female touch. I don't know. ¿Qué piensan de esto? Obviamente, ella va a ser va a ser herramientas de anillos, o va a ser el asistente, y quién sabe, no sé si se parece más como una persona que va a trabajar en esta clase de trabajo, pero vamos a ver, va a ser algo un poco interesante. ¿Qué piensan todos los que están afuera? Let's see. So, Miguel Fire says, acabo de descubrir el título de la nueva temporada, Las Anillas del Poder. Sí. Me parece que eso va a ser, van a ser las anillas del poder, las anillas amigables. I don't know, yeah. Unexpected visitor, your mother-in-law shows up. Or your sister-in-law, yeah. In this place, maybe it's your sister's, your cousin. Hola, mi gente. Hola, Manolo. ¿Cómo estás? Wow. So Monkey Chiva says, Teddy Ruxpin, Worlds of Wonder, Rings of Power. I know, right? But are we going to get plushies of the elves? And are they going to be able to pull the ring off their finger and they're able to tell you something like, you're a good person? Now I looked at this, and before you misogynistic, pigs say anything about this, I did some research, because I was like, you know what? I don't know many female blacksmiths. I know there's some on probably Twitter or something, but they are a few women blacksmith in history, I guess. I did look up. There's some. There were some even in medieval times or something. So this is the image of a woman's blacksmith in like an ancient Bible. Because at first I'm like, what? I just never seen that many female blacksmiths, aside from anime, depicted. And then I checked it out, and here's another one for 1300s. It also depicts a female blacksmith, and I thought, what? That's actually pretty cool. So, and she's wearing a dress. So, boom. Anda los racistas y los machistas. So there are chick blacksmiths out there that are gonna be the bestest ever. So what do you guys think? Is it gonna be something that you guys are gonna be like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't think that's gonna take me out of it, or is it not? We'll see. We'll see what everybody's thinking about on this, because it just feels like they're just pushing it a little bit more. I mean, is it going to be there something where, what's her character in a sense? What is she there for? What exactly is the what they're going after, right? So I don't know. This is going to be one of those things where I don't know if it's cool, it's not. So I don't know. It looks like no confundéis metalúrgica con hombrevejía. ¿Cómo están haciendo los creadores del programa? Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, there's something that I wanted you guys to check out. I don't know if you guys were following in Twitter, and a lot of different channels are covering it. So there's this whole Assassin's Creed. We had covered it before, and it just keeps getting better and better. Para esos que no conocen, Assassin's Creed es un juego nuevo de Ubisoft, y en este vas a poder jugar un samurái y una ninja. La controversia es que el samurái es africano, y ahora parece que también es un poco afeminado, y eso trastornó un poco la pobre gente de Japón, que no ha sufrido tanto, pobrecitos. Pero Inverse está diciendo esto ahora, que todos ustedes que tienen un problema con un samurái de color son una manga de racistas. Para que vean. Puros racistas, puros racistas. Assassin's Creed developers didn't have to explain their game. If you guys didn't follow, they did give like a little kind of explanation of why they did what they did, which making this samurai Yusuke, who now a lot of people are saying it's not really a thing. Not only was it never a thing, it's an exaggeration completely. And how come you can't play a Japanese character in a Japanese game? But yeah, we'll see. Assassin's Creed game everyone wanted for over a decade has been marred in nonsense controversy since its two lead characters were revealed earlier this year. Centering an African-born lead in the game set during feudal Japan is a great way to set Assassin's Creed Shadows apart from other excellent games that have already explored the era. Instead, sorry, I can't keep a straight face. Instead of become a lightning rod to some of the worst people in the internet looking to turn fake outrage into cash and content. Never mind that Japan has a deep lore of crest of history and honor in everything that they do, like every design, everything that goes into the armor. And they decided, yeah, you know what, forget all that, let's just pander. But it's you guys the fans are the problem, according to Inverse. Rather than ignore ignoramuses, oh no, who claim Shadow's black protagonist is part of the larger sinister diversity effort in gaming development, because we haven't seen nothing bad in gaming, right? Pura gente loca. Ubisoft Quebec and acknowledged these fraudulent concerns in a recent statement. While the developer isn't changing course from his decision to split the game narrative between Japanese Shinobi Noe and African Samurai Yusuke, it practically handed those bad actors a fake victory in the culture battle that doesn't exist in the first place. If you guys don't know, even the guy who created this whole Yusuke was a samurai got actually fired from the game developers. And speaking of game developers, boom, best game developer ever.
Well, someone who doesn't even play games.
We have to start with something.
Lily's here.
Yay! What's up, everybody?
Yeah, Lily in the house. Yeah, so basically, Lily, this has happened with Ubisoft, the Assassin's Creed. I'm sure you've heard people talk about it, where they have like a black samurai, and a lot of people saying that yes, he was a black samurai, and a lot of historians say no, there wasn't. Well, now Japan is actually angry. They actually fired the guy who started this whole the black samurai was an actual thing, but of course, Ubisoft is calling us racist because that's who the fans are.
So the every
single day,
every single time. Oh my gosh! Well, because they're trying to rewrite history, and come on, no one believes it anymore. I can relate this to how they tried to continue the TV show for Vikings, and then they gender swapped someone who was actually a historical figure, and not only gender swapped but race swapped as well. And this was supposed to be like a badass Viking man, and they turned him into a black woman.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this person actually existed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things to where I guess how they did it is the issue. Because I know like a Monkey Jeebus asked, why do people like Afro Samurai, but this isn't acceptable? I think it's because Afro Samurai, it is what it is. It's like, what if there was an Afro Samurai? And Ubisoft tried to sell this as this is history. You guys are just not accepting of history because this actually happened until they got caught. and they were like, oh, it wasn't really history, and they're pushing it. So I mean, it could be a thing, could be not a thing. The problem is that they usually revert to the same thing, which is just blaming the fans for pointing stuff out. I mean, weaponized autism of fans is the worst thing ever because people are passionate, and if you're gonna dump on them, there's good ways to do it. There's ways to say, hey, we wanted to bring a more diverse something, blah blah blah, but we thought that this was historically accurate. It turns out it isn't, and then you go, hey, but we made a kick-ass game. That's not hard to say. Instead of saying, well, racist fans don't have to explain their game. In other words, they have no defense, and critics do not need to explain their criticism. Yeah, it's the same thing. I agree. It's one of those things where you go, yeah, you don't have to explain it, then why even talk about it? But we want to talk about it because it's something that we're passionate about. But yeah, I mean, literally, they're doing this with everything, it seems. It's okay for them to just put anything that they like in the game because we don't care, as long as you tell us why it makes sense. I think it's like we were talking about. Remember when there was like a bunch of the controversy on the House of the Dragon that kind of wasn't, because they were expecting a bunch of like, oh, it's going to be racist because they made the black Targaryens, and then it was like, well, no, it's not a thing because they just explain it, and everybody was cool.
And because we really did see that they picked the best people for the role. Everybody kind of gave it a chance as well. It wasn't just like a big old outrage from the beginning. We were just kind of like, okay, well, this isn't what was in the book, but I guess we'll give it a shot. And everybody did, and everybody liked it. So it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have a lot of room to play with this kind of like fantasy stuff. I don't understand why they don't just say, okay, guys, this is not historically accurate. And then they'll take all of that away from themselves instead of trying to paint something as, well, this actually happened and you guys are just racist.
Yeah, and I mean, you're a company, you're trying to sell a product. You're a huge company, and you're trying to sell a product to as many people as possible. Instead of getting these people out there saying you guys are bigots and racist because you guys don't accept a black samurai. But then when, people like, even like, I think when this first started, we were talking about Pablo, who's a huge Japanese file. He speaks Japanese. He saw like even looking at the trailer triggered him because, you have the crest, that's the wrong crest. You have the season, it's the wrong season. You got little things that people who know anything about Japan can pick out. And you go, wait a minute, this is jacked up. This is not Japan. He would never have X. He would never do X. And then you're saying this is an immersive game. You're kind of losing out. I mean, I think Gary in his live stream even said he quoted Martin. Rings of Power, and not Rings of Power, House of the Dragon writer. And he says, you have to set up a world, and the world has to have rules. And when it doesn't have rules, it's hard to believe in it. So I don't know. If you set up the rules and the rules kind of seem a little off, then it's going to be hard to immerse yourself in that role if you feel that something's off. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah. So what do you guys think? Is it something that you think is going to mess up the game? I said, nah, but I don't know. I don't know if it calling people, ignoramuses, as it says here, is gonna help it out. And these people are getting money from the studios probably to say these things. So it's not always a good look to attack the fans when we're the ones with the cash trying to give it to you guys. So, sure, no say. It could be a thing. Right, Lily?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I saw you were really hyped up in the non-hyped up way about this new episode of the Casa del Dragón because it seems like it wasn't as dragonish as possible, if that's even a word.
Oh man, it's
Oh no.
it's because this season has been so slow. Like,
Oh.
okay, the first season it didn't have a lot of action, but it had a lot of conversations happening between characters that mattered. Every single word you would have to hang on it because it was important later. This season, I feel like has been so much filler with the dialogue and dialogue that doesn't matter, and scenes now that they're just trying to insert in there for whatever reason. And it just, oh man, I was really rooting for this season, but it hasn't been enough for me. And I'm a huge fan, so I can imagine, and I've already seen a lot of more normie people commenting that they can't go on with the show anymore, that they're bored, that nothing's
Mm.
going on, and that they're out. One of the other panelists on our panel for Dames and Dorks, she actually went through the entire season 1 and was so excited to start season 2. She says she stopped at episode 3.
Wow.
She said it was just nothing was happening. It was boring. And I can see that. I think they messed up their timeline pretty bad. So we all know that this is going to end in like a big old war between all the dragons and all the Targaryens fighting each other on both sides. So everybody was kind of expecting this action this entire season. And we've gotten like one action scene with the dragons, and that's it. I guess you could argue the scene with blood and cheese, that was crazy. And that's pretty much it. They even had the fight between the Blackwoods and I think the Brackens. They didn't even show us that. They just cut from them arguing to the end and just showed us the aftermath. Didn't even show us the fighting. And I'm like, why? There's so many scenes that they could have put in here and kind of expanded on and taken out a lot of other stuff that to me is just filler and makes no sense to have all these conversations go on for so long. And when I saw the run times for a lot of these episodes, that it was like, yes, an hour and 20 minutes, I was so excited. And now I feel like they tricked us. These episodes are so bloated with stuff you don't need. So they could have cut it back and just made them 45 minutes. But I'm pretty sure in their head, they were like, uh-oh, we can't be caught being Disney and only putting out 30 to 40-minute episodes. So we got to fill it with something. And fill it they did. And a lot of these scenes and conversations are just, they're too long. They're too long. There's no action. And I'm like, really, guys? I think they cut it off at the wrong point. Season 1. So I think season 1, they should have gone all the way to the end with the first timeline of characters, and then season 2 should have started with the time jump. I think they separated it very differently. And I see Darth Plato not agreeing with me. It's boring, dude. It's boring. I'm sorry. Like, I watched all of season 1 and there was no action in that one, and it definitely was not boring. This season is boring. I'm sorry. Like, if you were to watch episode 1 through 6 all together, it's boring. And then now I can kind of see Well, I don't agree with you either, Polly. Sorry. It's boring. And I think they just messed up I think it's the timeline. I think that's what they messed up. The plot with Damon is going on for far too long. We're like 4 episodes into this plot and nothing has happened. I mean, we're getting to see that I guess he's resolving issues with his family and these hauntings that he's having or whatever. But it's just, what is happening? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then the scene that everybody's talking about that I complained about on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get to that one in a second. So on this one it says La Casa del Dragón temporada 2 episodios 6 mundos enteros en abrazos. El episodio en abrazos. It's funny because every time I see abrazos I keep thinking about the thing you were talking about. El episodio de esta semana se especializó en todo tipo de personas que consiguen las cosas que quieren y necesitan, o al menos lo intentan de todas las maneras posibles. Y como dice Lily, en las maneras más lentas posibles también. Rhaenyra en verdad sabe que sus esfuerzos por recuperar al trono está en peligro. Va a necesitar ayuda adicional. But there's beautiful long shots, Lily. Don't you entertain? Lily's fighting with you guys chat.
Yeah, well, because that is a legit critique to me. Because I just said that season 1 didn't have a lot of action, but it wasn't boring. Season 2 has a lot of interactions between characters that don't need to happen. So yes, it is a legit critique, and I'm sorry if you guys don't agree with me, but I'm not gonna just agree with you guys all the time. Like, I'm sorry. If I could, I would go through episode 1 through 6 and pick out exactly what things needed to be cut a little bit shorter or needed to be cut out.
Now, you think they're just doing this to stretch it out because it's been such a big hit?
Yes, because this should have been 2 seasons tops because
right.
of all the action you're supposed to get with the dragons. If you don't know, everyone is supposed to, there's going to be no dragons after this. There's going to be hardly any Targaryens left after this. So it's a big war. And if they did this the way that it follows in the book, you would be done like that. It would be like a season and a half between everything. So they have to stretch things out. They have to add more things to it. So, of course, they're going to have stuff in there. And no, we're not always going to like it. I still like the show a bunch better than The Acolyte. This is much better. But it's my honest critique. How can you tell me that my opinion is wrong?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it does, from everything that I've seen about this, it does look like they're just trying to push a little bit, like to stretch it out because it's been so successful. I mean, it's breaking records. Everybody's loving it. It's not even an issue. There's watch parties again. Who nobody thought there'd be watch parties about this again. And now there's already like watch parties back. I mean, Sunday night, it's like, boom. I know that Lily, Gary, everybody's going to be pushing out stuff about House of Dragon because it's like, oh, did you see House of Dragon? House of Dragon. It's like, but is House of the Dragon becomes House of Desperate Targaryens? What was that one? Desperate Housewife. So it's Desperate Targaryens.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's just I know on one point you can't have dragon battles and all that stuff every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. That would be ridiculous. But you're not giving much for people to go on either. Like these conversations, like I said, season 1, most of the conversations that people had were important. You had to pay attention because it was very political. A lot of these conversations in season 2, you're like, what was the point of this? This doesn't even, and I don't like Rhaenyra's character now, which is weird because she used to be one of my favorites, because she keeps complaining every single episode that she's not getting any respect because she's a woman. And yet she does nothing to get that respect. She just complains about it.
Mm.
And it's like, yes, you always have to be aware that men are always going to see you as a woman, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But you also have to show that you're competent, you know what you're doing to get that respect. And she doesn't. Every single time they've needed her, she's not there. She's gone.
Mm.
And you've seen that in the show where even her own son was like, "Where have you been? Like, why are you leaving? We're literally in the middle of a war. You're leaving, you can be killed, and we wouldn't even know where you are." So how are all of these people around her supposed to respect her if she's this flaky?
And was she flaky in the book?
We'll see, because that's the thing. In the book, it's told like a historical kind of view.
Right.
So it's accounts from different people. It would be like if somebody told my story through my friends or my family of people that were kind of there.
Mm-hmm. She loves the acolyte.
So, so it doesn't really tell you what was happening. It's not like if you read the actual Game of Thrones books, that's from the characters' own points of views. So when you're reading through Daenerys, it's literally her point of view. So you know that actually happened. But when you're reading this one, Fire and Blood, it's told like a history book. So it's like us reading US history. We really don't know if that's how it happened. That's how the historians are telling us it happened. So yeah, yeah. Like, to rain on everybody's parade, but there's some issues. I'm not saying like, oh, I hate this show all of a sudden. It's the worst show ever. It's not. It still has a lot of really good stuff going on with it. It's just those little issues are happening so often that I'm like, really, you guys? And this is one example, is Rhaenyra. She used to be my favorite, and I thought that she was like gonna be this super fierce, strong woman and whatever, and she's not. She's whiny. She's complaining. She doesn't get any of that respect, where I'm super sad that they killed off Rhaenys, and she's everything that Rhaenyra should have been.
Yeah. Well, Dark Plato says, I suspect the showrunners are trying to sanitize Rhaenyra and Leonson so that they are not perceived as evil. Their show as soccer moms, not dynasts. So they get more soccer mom vibes, or not evil, or are they still going to be evil as heck later on, right? Well, Polly says you're making great points.
So yeah, I don't know. That's just how I see it.
No, and it's good because one of these things that everybody's passionate about their shows, and one of the things that I think you brought up that a lot of people were having a kind of like a hissy fit about was the kiss, shall we say it, and a lot of people kind of defended it in a sense where, yeah, it's not that they're mad that there's a kiss. I think they're mad that this is not the place. It's not, they don't have any chemistry there. They weren't a thing, and now they are, right?
Yeah, so you kind of have to remember that in this world, there's a lot of stuff going on. We saw that, so it's not necessarily that it's two women kissing. If you read Fire and Blood, you actually do kind of get, they throw some things in there that there might have been something going on between Rhaenyra, Daemon, and Laena. So that kind of gives you the idea that, you know, Rhaenyra was not opposed to being with another woman. So that is not what everybody's complaining about. If you watch how the scene played out, it was so weird because we've gotten these characters together for a while now in these episodes. And you would never feel that every single time they're on screen together that they have this like chemistry or this tension that you're like, something's going to happen. And then all of a sudden it happened in this scene. And not only did it happen, but I believe Miss Arya has a scar that's going like along her neck or something. So she starts to explain her story about how she was abused as a child by her dad. And after she tells the story and she's very, very vulnerable, this is when Rhaenyra kisses her to comfort her. It went from like a hug to a kiss. And I'm like, that is so awkward. Like someone just tells you a story about how they got taken advantage of intimately by a family member.
You begin to take advantage.
You think that this is an appropriate time to get intimate with somebody? Like that's the problem that I had, because I was like, girl, you do not know how to read the room, because that was weird to me. And then come to find out the next day, everybody wrote articles about it, and I guess it was the actress's fault, or not fault, but suggestion. Emma Darcy, she is the one that suggested it. She felt like there was tension or something building up between them in this scene that she wanted them to kiss. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, I would have much preferred if she was actually there and took into consideration that, like, this person who she is becoming close to is finding comfort enough and trust her enough to tell her story, that she's making herself vulnerable. And she can just be there for her and comfort her. And it got really creepy really fast with that. And I know it's kind of stupid to be like, just reverse the roles. Like, can you imagine if this had been a man and a woman had just told him a story like that and he did that?
They would have been all over it.
Yeah, can you imagine the uproar of like, oh, this guy took advantage of her, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that was just weird. And then it was the second to last scene, or actually it was pretty much the last scene. So this is what it ended on, and everybody was like, what?
What
happened? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because everybody's like, well, the conservatives and stuff, and it's like, I don't think this is a conservative, bro. I mean, I think this is more like everybody going like, this is out of character. You know, they weren't like meshing like that, and then all of a sudden now they do it, and plus, you know, read the room. That's what I think a lot of people had a problem with. But of course, they're gonna try to flip it around. But this is where you maybe not listen to the actress, huh?
Yeah, and then I think I saw that on X, that they tried to say that this was the lowest rated episode because other countries like Saudi Arabia and in the Middle East, it was being downvoted. But I don't think it's just those countries. I believe that it was also the lowest rated episode in our country as well. Like, people just didn't like this episode. And like I said, I don't think it was an issue that it was two women kissing. The issue was that the scene just kind of played out way too creepy. You're like, why are you, like, you're literally taking advantage of her after she told you someone else took advantage of her.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird.
It just came out of nowhere, and I felt that it was like, well, maybe a little creepy. Maybe not the right place, but it does make sense that it's the actor's choice, I guess. And is she like a big actress or something? Like, because I'm sure she's one of runners or whatever, right?
This is the first time I see her in anything, so I don't think she's like a Tom Cruise that they would have to listen to her. So I don't know. I kind of get the feeling too, like in the article when they were talking about it, because they talked to both actresses about it. I kind of get the feeling that the actress for Missaria didn't want to say anything to not offend people, and she just kind of went with it too, because she was like, "Oh yeah, ha, ha, ha. So Emma, like, she suggested it, and we did it."
Right.
So it sounds like not even the actress was like, "Yeah, this is something that should happen in the scene." Like, it came out of nowhere. So I'm like, oh no, if you're letting your cast decide what the characters are doing, then
So they ran out of script. So they're like, hey, we got to milk it. What should we do? Well, I know what we could do for a few minutes.
yeah, that's weird. That's what I'm talking about. They're putting in all these scenes that they're not really like, even Miss Arya being a little bit more vulnerable towards Rhaenyra, that she told her story. I kind of don't care. Like, this doesn't change anything about her character. Nothing really kind of matters, because the reason why Rhaenyra was there is because she goes and tells her, like, oh yeah, nobody respects me, even my own son doesn't respect me, and blah 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 blah. And then Miss Arya starts telling her this story about how she was abused, and I'm like, okay. It's like, when you're also comforting someone, you don't take their pain and turn it into your pain. You listen. Like, the worst thing you can do is tell someone, like, oh, this like even more awful thing happened to me and I'm fine. It's like, no. So this whole scene was just like you didn't need this entire scene. You didn't need it. We already know how Rhaenyra is feeling. You're showing us because of all these things that are happening. She doesn't need to go crying to somebody and then all this other stuff happens. You're like, okay. And what am I supposed to take away from this scene? I would have much preferred, see, all this time that they wasted on this scene, I would have preferred to see Adam finally on Sea Smoke. That's what I would have preferred to see. Because there's a scene in there where Sea Smoke finally finds another dragon rider, and they cut it to go into this, and you're like, I kind of wanted to see that. That would have been another scene that you guys could have thrown in there for us to see dragons. Because, House of the Dragon.
Yeah, and that's the one where people were going like, I think it's Sea Smoke, right? Is the name of the dragon, and then they're like, Sea Smoke is racist, is going to try to eat because it's dark meat. There was all kinds of foul memes in the Indeflex about this, and I was like, whoa, what the heck? Oh, but it was a cliffhanger. I was like, oh, okay, so it's a cliffhanger. We don't know. Is he going to get, is he a snack or a writer? What do you think, Lily? Snack or writer?
No, he's actually the next writer. He's the dragon writer.
Ooh, not a snack, guys.
They set it up in the last episode that Rhaenyra and Jacaerys. Oh, I always get their names messed up. They're like the same names for everybody. So they're trying to find people with a little bit of Targaryen blood in them, because they have dragons with no dragon riders. And then so they set that up last episode. And in this one, that was actually a cool scene. They had a knight who they had traced had a little bit of blood in him. So they tried to get him to ride Sea Smoke, and Sea Smoke was not having any of it. Like, it was so funny. I think I replied to somebody and I was like, me if I were a dragon, because the dragon's just there like, yeah, come closer, buddy. I'm not going to do anything to you. And then when the knight gets closer, he's like, ha, gotcha. And then he like burns him.
Oh,
like,
man.
oh my god, that's so messed up, this dragon.
Adam siendo Me Too por un dragón.
So then
And
I guess
Miguel agrees with you. The smirk at the end of the scene clearly shows he wasn't a snack.
yeah. So then Sea
Not a
Smoke,
snack.
they kind of tell you within the story too. They're like, oh, Sea Smoke has been very like over anxious to find another rider, and like he likes having that bond. So he's looking for somebody, and he found Adam because Adam has Valerian blood. They told us that in this episode that Adam and Alan are actually Corliss's sons. So we're gonna kind of get to see their story now too. So I guess Adam is now Sea Smoke's dragon rider, and that's what I'm saying. They cut it just so you don't know what's going on. Like the dragon starts getting closer, and you're like, oh, but like dragons, they're not gonna get that close if they're gonna kill you. I think they would just kill you. But this dragon's like, hey, buddy, I'm just gonna, come in a little closer, let you take a good look at me, and we're gonna be best friends. And they cut it. I can't believe they didn't let us see it. So then they go into the scene with Rhaenyra and Miss Arya, and then they're like, oh yeah, Sea Smoke has been seen flying around. And they're like, yeah, well, he does that. Yeah, but it looks like he's found a new rider. And now Rhaenyra is like, oh no, I must leave and find out to see what. Again, she's the queen, putting herself in danger. She doesn't know who's riding Sea Smoke, and here she goes, which is another stupid thing. And us, the audience, we already know that it's Adam. Why not let us see that? They don't know that in the show. So cool. That can still be a surprise for them. But for us, we know who it is. So let us see that. That's a cool scene. We saw it when Aemond claimed Vhagar and how difficult it is and how the dragons can sometimes turn around and kill you. So why not let us see another bond happening between a rider and its dragon?
So in a way, you're saying they stretched out the wrong part and clipped the wrong part.
Yeah. Yeah. Because this is a really cool scene because you see the dragon basically chasing him down. And you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Why is this dragon doing this? Like, is he aware? Is he playing with him? Like, I don't understand. Until you finally figure it out. You're like, wait a second. Oh, yeah, no, Sea Smoke is looking for another dragon rider. And then they cut it. And then they cut to Rhaenyra and Miss Arya. And you're like, oh, you didn't let us see the scene where he actually, like, bonded with Sea Smoke.
So it's a double annoyance because in one thing you wanted that payoff of seeing Adam ride, and then at the other time you get this weird, where did this come from? Just like out of nowhere, uncharacter-like, just behavior, and then you're like, boom, it was like, what?
Especially because we saw the failed attempt earlier and how that ended. And you get to kind of show the audience that, like, no, this is how a bond happens. Because even with Vhagar is like super old and grumpy, so she almost killed Aemond too. But it looks like Sea Smoke, this is the other way around. Sea Smoke found his rider and he's like, all right, no, we're gonna like be a team now. So why not show us a successful bond between the dragon rider and the dragon, where the dragon is the one that's actually like, no, it's cool. You can be my dragon rider. Let's do this. And they don't show it. They don't show it.
That's messed up. So overall, what would you give like the rating of this week's episode? Because we only have supposedly one more season to go, right? Not too many episodes.
One more season. If I hear that they're going for a season 4,
Wow.
like, no. I understand it's been really successful for them, but I don't know how they can drag it out much longer. So, yeah. Rating for this episode, I mean, it still did have some pretty cool scenes. It's just super slow. So I'd say maybe like probably like a 6.
We
Last
got
week's
what?
episode was
2,
probably like a 7.
and we only got 2 episodes left in the season, right?
Yeah, only 2 episodes left in the season.
And we have announcements of a 3rd season, but not of a 4th, hopefully. In your
No.
opinion.
So now we know that basically everything that everybody wants to happen isn't going to happen until next season. So if you're looking for dragon fights and all that stuff, probably not going to get it until next season.
So let me ask you a couple. Lily, you're done with your review? I have a couple questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the original book, is it long? Is it short? Because
So
this is the one book I did not read.
the original book it's pretty thick. It's just that, like I said, it's like a history book. So you're basically reading from when Aegon, my God, these names. Aegon the Conqueror actually conquers Westeros. So you're getting it from his story all the way to the end of the Dance of Dragons. So it's telling you all of the history of all that happened before we get to the events of Game of Thrones.
Okay, I get confused too with these names because they sound so much alike and everything. Who's the guy with the patch? The kid with the patch?
Aemond.
Okay, all right. So in your opinion, this is no more than 2 seasons. The whole thing should be no more than 2 seasons long.
I think they could have done 3 seasons, but I think where they went wrong is that they rushed season 1. A lot of things happened in season 1 that they could have stretched out into season 2, and I don't think it would have felt have felt as like nothing's happening. What's going on? So I think season 1 should have just been with the original cast, with Millie and the other actress that played Alicent, and I think they should have ended it at the wedding between Rhaenyra and I believe it was Laenor, and that they should have left that as a cliffhanger where everything goes crazy and you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck?
Listen, I'm not going to argue with you. This season is just so slow. I'm totally with you. I mean, like, and me and Romy were huge season 1 fans, so we were looking forward to this. And you know, we've nicknamed it House of Dragon Ass because it really does, guys. And like Lily said, that being said, I'll still take a laborious episode of this than an Acolyte any day.
Yeah.
However, you know, it doesn't mean it's not above critique. Yeah, I actually would say the episode before this one, for me and Romy was just
worse.
Oh my God, it was excruciating. Here there was at least some action with the characters and with the dialogue. But listen, there's you can't defend just you kind of all right. You're why are you showing these tertiary and then 4th characters? We don't need to know their storylines. Stay with the 2 queens if you're gonna adapt this for TV. The 2 queens, the 2 actors they're the best. They're absolutely incredible. I think that's why for me, every time we had an Olivia Cook episode scene in this episode, her with Aeon, then her with homeboy all busted up in bed, fantastic stuff.
And see, it's not to say that they can't change things and make it work, because that story in the book didn't actually happen. Alicent and Rhaenyra weren't even best friends. Really? Alicent was much older than Rhaenyra in the book. Yeah. So they they actually changed it for the TV show where they were closer in age and they were best friends, which I think works even better because you can see the rivalry between these 2 women who used to be best friends. And that's why when Alicent marries Viserys, Rhaenyra feels super betrayed because she's like, "You're my best friend, dude. You're like
Yeah.
marrying my dad. What the heck?"
Yeah, no, that
And
was
in the book, you don't really get that because they're much. Alicent is much older, so when she marries Viserys, there was never that friendship between her and Rhaenyra. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But they
Well,
changed
that's why
that for the TV show,
yeah.
and that's why it's so good. Yeah.
It's a great change. It has been a great change, and they're incredible actors. And I think that's why even like that's for a couple episodes back where she's trying to save things, she goes undercover nun and gets into the church there, and they're at the praying circle. That was like a straight up Godfather feeling type of scene. That was just wonderful. Yeah, I would say I think it's interesting this female character. Was it totally the kiss totally out of place? Perhaps. I think there was a good lead up because they have a shared history with homeboy Damon, with and then she saved her. She saved her life. She's the one who saw, hey, there's that twin walking. Let me go. Hey, what's going on? So there was a lot of like kind of a good buildup of these characters respecting and being there for one another, and then in her pitiful mind, Rhaenyra, oh, woe was me, everyone's against me except for you. Come over here, give me a little hug. Yeah, I think I liked it a little bit more than you did, meaning that there was a little bit of a payoff. But is it needed? No, it wasn't needed. It's not needed. And like you said, that whole storyline of taking out homeboy who had like a little bit of a Valerian blood, that was nasty. But then, what's his name? Sea Smoke? He finds Milli Vanilli climbing in the rocks in the forest, saying, "Girl, it's true. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'll ride you." Anyways, that was cool. Like, that's what we wanted to see. And it was just a shot of Milli Vanilli all scared right there, Do you like that, Lily?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand because in the show, yes, Rhaenyra, the other characters don't know that it's Adam that is the new dragon rider, but the audience is well aware. So by you cutting it and going into the next scene where it's like, oh, I wonder who it is, we, the audience, already know. So why would you cut it there and not let us see the entire thing?
And that's another great point you bring up is that at the end of the day, all these mofos are going to be smoked. And that's the tragedy that we know, which is really cool, which is how are they going to thread it to what's her name in Game of Thrones?
Daenerys.
I mean, that's her bloodline is what? Like, who is her granddaddy?
Oh my God, I would have to get the book because it's not direct to to like any of these characters. I think like Damon,
maybe Darth Plato knows in the chat.
Her uncle to like is because it's a long chart.
Yeah, well, they got the blonde hair, right? So, and that's probably another way you're probably going to have to explain how the Black Valerians don't exist anymore, though they probably all get killed. So, because we didn't see them in Game of Thrones. Yeah, no, that's good critique, Lily. It's a good critique. I mean, I put on the first 2 episodes of season 1 last week, and I'm like, no comparison. Unfortunately, it's just a bad season. It's just not a great season compared to season 1. So, good analysis, Lily. Great job as always.
Yeah. So okay, Rhaenyra is Daenerys's great grandmother.
Oh.
Say that one more time.
Rhaenyra is Daenerys's great grandmother.
7 times removed. That's some strong genes because they still got the blonde hair.
Yeah, abuelita está fuerte.
Yeah, I mean, I got strong genes. I mean, my grandfather before and after that. There's a picture of him from World War II. Is like, is that Polly?
And then Damon is a distant great uncle, but also her 6th great grandfather.
Oh God, that's another thing to you that you brought up, and that me and Romy are really upset about, is that you have Matt Shepard just being basically, boy in a haunted mansion. I mean, maybe for a half an episode, but this is Damon. He's got to nut up and get on his freaking dragon and start slaying. I mean, this is really, because this is like 3-4 episodes now of this Fletcher. That you're just like,
yeah, it got ridiculous. I think it was pretty cool. Like the first episode 2, I was like,
right.
Okay, I guess we're going with this plot line again. And then on the 3rd episode, I was like, more of this. And now with this one, it's like,
right.
We're never leaving.
And Romy brought up a great point with the Scottish witch lady that's there. They should have brought her in right away. And the fact that she's Scottish is very, very much of a Macbeth haunting type of thing. And I'm like, that's brilliant. It's just that House of Dragon Ass, it needs to be in one episode. I think you're right. I think you're going to condense it all into maybe 2 episodes at the most. That's kind of a cool little thing, because he's not a good dude. He does a lot of bad shit. So it's like, the castle's going to bring some of it out. Okay, good. And all right, now what's next? Let's go raise an army. I'm ready to raise an army.
Yeah, because we are see what I like about it is that, he's done so many awful things, and all of these ghosts are haunting him, that, it kind of seems like he made peace with Viserys, and then younger Rhaenyra showed up, and she's like, I'm always having to clean up all your messes. And so he's aware that he's done all these terrible things and he's being haunted by these people. So that part of it is cool, but like that could have been 2 episodes tops. It didn't need to be this long. Since they're dragging that out, they have to drag out other things. And it's like,
right.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Like,
you're right. No, and what I said I don't agree with it was like, there's a lot I like. There are some really good episodes, but there are some just very laborious episodes. But you can't argue your points, man. I mean,
which is the thing that didn't happen in season 1. I think season 1, the only tough episode to really get through was maybe episode 1, because we still didn't know what was happening. Because you're like, is this gonna be like a super boring TV show? Like, what are they all doing? Until all these little pieces started coming in, and you're like, oh, there's actually a lot going on here. And like I said, there's not a lot of action in season 1. So it's not that we're lacking action. It's just that some of these scenes and conversations are being drawn out, and it's way too long. It's way too much.
I think also what you're talking about time period, and that the first episode was a changing of the tides for the house because of, the granddaddy dying, and then this and that. So you're like, there's a lot of talking, but there's also a lot of like just changing relationships, changing kingdoms. And you're like, what's going on? Here, you're like, here is my shield. Let's talk about my shield for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's what a lot of these conversations feel like. And you're like, okay.
yeah. But listen, are you looking forward to the season finale? It's next week, right? Or is it 2 more?
No, we have 2 more.
Okay.
We have 2 more.
Well, they got to pick it up, man. They really got to pick it up.
No, they really seriously do, because it's the last 2 episodes. This is where it's going to decide where a lot of people are going to watch season 3 or not. Because, like I said, if I feel this way, and I actually am a fan, and I've been a fan since Game of Thrones, and I'm already like, come on.
and are you saying that the ratings have been going down?
I haven't actually checked the episode ratings. Yes, I think this is the lowest rated episode of the season, of this entire season. And I've had a lot of people in my comments every single time that I'll post something about it, especially this last one. A lot of people were saying the same thing, and they're like, yeah, this is dragging out. I stopped watching it. I'm not going to finish it. And I'm like, ooh, that's not a good sign for this TV show.
You know,
up a little bit.
I think it was like a month before episode 1 premiered that I heard some grumblings in the business, like, oh, people are not going to like some of the choices that have been made with some of the characters. And that was like a month before season 2 premiered. And I heard it from some professional friends. I'm like, oh, really? I didn't dig too deep. I was busy. I don't know what, but it's like, I see what they're talking about. Cause some of these decisions just seem out of character. And, unfortunately, it's characters that we really like Damon and Rhaenyra. It's like, all right, already, come on,
Yes, yeah. It's just it's been tedious, and people, unfortunately, like if I were just watching this for the dragons, I would have already stopped watching it, because there are a lot of people that are like, where are the dragons? Why are we not seeing more dragons? And obviously you can't have the dragon fights because then they'd all die in like 2 episodes. But that's why I'm saying, why not give the audience scenes like this where you literally cut it off with Adam and didn't let us see a bond between a dragon rider and a dragon? Like
in House of Dragon.
In House of the Dragon. Like, why are we not seeing more dragons with their dragon riders? You don't necessarily have to have these big fights or whatever. Why not let us see more of them? I know that it must cost money for them to CGI the dragons, and that might be a reason why they're not putting so much of them in there. But like, throw us a bone every single once in a while. Show us the dragons in House of the Dragon. Otherwise, you should have called your show Fire and Blood after the book. And then people wouldn't be expecting dragons.
It's Dragon Light.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing from a lot of people too, who don't really follow the story, and they're like, well, it's called House of the Dragon. Where are the dragons? And I'm like,
where are the dragons? Well, like we said, me and Romy call it House of the Dragon ass.
And then I have to explain to these people, because it's usually like normies, usually my family or my friends, that I'm like, this show is more political. So you're not going to see a lot of action. It's more political. So if you're into politics and that's kind of your thing, this is a show for you. But yes, now we know that the war is coming. So you kind of want to see those scenes. And that's what drove me crazy, that they cut off the scene between the Blackwoods and the Brackens, I think is what they're called.
They just show the
Why
aftermath.
did they cut that?
That's a pure budget. That's pure budget.
So then,
no, you're right.
Either rearrange your budget or ask for a bigger budget where you can actually justify it, because they're justifying it with this TV show. It's beautiful. Everything looks great, as opposed to something like The Acolyte, which costs almost the same thing. But you can actually see where the money is going in this TV show. So if they want a little bit bigger budget to CGI more dragons and more wars, why not give them a little bit more budget?
Well, hopefully they're saving it for the last 2 episodes. They're going to finish strong. They really have to, because the last 2 episodes were terribly.
Yeah. And see, they have really good things that are sprinkled in there, because I like the way that Alicent is finally starting to get it, that she's like, oops, I made a big old mistake. I made a big old mistake, and now I'm trying to put myself in the shoes being the queen, and now none of these men want me to do it. And it's like, yeah, it's stupid. That's the same thing that they did to Rhaenyra. Now they're doing it to you, and you actually went along with their plot. Are you stupid?
That was great. I mean, he pulled the Trump. Mom, you're fired.
Yeah, it was funny. I was like, good. You're getting your karma back for what you did to Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
So like they have a lot of really cool stuff going in there, but then at the same time, that's why it feels bloated, because they have scenes.
Fodder. Too much
Yeah,
fodder.
they have scenes where you're like, was this necessary?
Well,
And
yeah, and then it's like, let's
No.
get to some of the strategy. That stuff is still going on. Like, hey, we're gonna go send boats of food and supplies. I love that stuff. You know, like you said, it's political strategies. You know, and yeah, I'm with you.
And those are the scenes that are important. I felt like that scene wasn't long enough, where you see the boats arriving and you're like, what is going on here? And then all of a sudden there's this big old like thing happening in the streets, and then Alicent and Helena get caught up in it. And I was like, this scene should have gone on a little bit longer to explain what's actually happening.
That was
Because a lot of people probably didn't put it together when Mysaria was like, well, there's more than one way to win a war.
You're right. Because Lily, even the buildup of like them being the people being hungry, being disenfranchised, that was a little too quick.
It was too fast.
It was a little too quick. It should have been established over weeks, which was funny because they kept going back to the rat's dog.
Yeah.
The little dog lives.
Yes. And see, that they should have shown the unrest in the streets. They should have shown it through the point of view of the characters, where they're coming out of their castle or whatever, and people are pelting them with fish because that's the only thing that they have to eat. And the fish are going rotten because fish go bad faster than a lot of other foods. Why don't you build that up? Because that also kind of came out of nowhere too, that the people are hungry and angry. And it could have been, them talking about it more and being like, well, they kind of gloss over it in these little councils that they have. They're like, people are hungry. Okay, well, they're still blocking the thing. What are we supposed to do? And then they don't talk about what they actually want to do about it. Or like, no, there's been more unrest in the streets and people are attacking each other and we need to figure out what we're doing because now they're turning against us. Or they don't have these conversations, and you're like, this is the kind of stuff you guys should be talking about. These are politics. This is important.
Yeah, and it's not hard to do. It's not hard to do because you got one king that was an immature brat replaced by his psychotic brother. It's like, yeah, we know they don't give a shit about the people in different ways, right? So that would have been cool to play on. I did like Alicent's scene where she was asking about her other son, because all she wanted to know was, is he kind? And that kind of set us all. We all got in the feelings when we saw that little scene. That was a great little scene.
Because it drives the point home that the only child that's a good child is the one that wasn't raised by her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't like Alicent. But to be fair, I'm starting not to like Rhaenyra either. So
yeah, I've been really disappointed with Rhaenyra lately. Like, it's a little too much, like lost in her own head. It's like, what happened to the avenging mom at the end of season 1? Like, when she turns around, it's like, it's on, man. Let's suit up.
Or even wasn't it episode 2 also where she comes in and she's like, I want Aemond.
That was the end of episode 1 where she's episode 2 where she says one line.
Yeah.
Give me the head of it. Give me Aemond. And then
Yes. And you're like, woohoo, we're about to get like some stuff going on. And then for the next episode, she's like, nobody likes me. Nobody respects me. Oh, it's because I'm a woman. And it's like,
but it's not new. Why is that anything new? She grew up in court. She grew. I mean, she was christened at 16. She already knows that everyone hates that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. But you kind of see the difference between her and Daenerys, because with Daenerys, she started off very much like this. She had no idea what she was doing as a queen. She didn't grow up in all of these courts, so she wasn't aware of how a queen or whatever had to play her role, and all the men around her were constantly giving her advice. And sometimes they would try to kind of overstep her and be like, no, you need to do this because like they're gonna attack and blah blah blah. And there was some point where we saw the shift between Daenerys being like this innocent girl that had no idea what was happening to where she grew up and she started being like, no, you know what, I'm the queen, you don't tell me what to do, and if you're gonna try to overshadow me, I'm gonna feed you to my dragon, so you better shut up and take orders from me. You don't tell me what to do. You are here to advise me, but at the end of the day, I am the one that makes the decisions. And I haven't seen that from Rhaenyra. She lets them. And it was just so stupid how she finally turned around and like slapped this person. And she's like, well, because you haven't been seeing me as your queen, or you don't have any respect for me. And it's like, why should he though? You've shown time and again that you have no idea what you're doing.
You bring up some good points because, you know, she should have slapped and maybe even killed one of the people on the council to Don Corleone that shit from the beginning. You know, but again, she should know these court politics. She's been around since she was a kid and she grew up in it. You know, the young Rhaenyra was way she had her head on her shoulders.
She was, yeah, I liked her. I like when she was younger, she had like a lot of spirit and she was very gutsy and she was super like stubborn, and now this Rhaenyra is like, oh, nobody likes me, and it's like,
I mean, honestly, now that I think about it, she probably would have been killed off already because they still haven't raised an army. They still have she's paused so many tactical things, Fletcher, that the enemy would have just come in there and just killed her ass. Not only just her that lame assassination attempt, which was kind of cool, but talking a full-on onslaught.
Yeah. I think honestly, if this had been like a real situation, I think even her own people would have already done something to her to get her killed and put on the throne. So it would have been Daemon versus Aemond. I don't think they would have put up with Rhaenyra. I honestly really don't. Not unless she was
not how they presented her in season 2.
Not how they presented her. Exactly. Why would you want this kind of ruler? She can't even rule over Dragonstone and the couple of knights and whatever that she has in this castle. How do you expect her to be a ruler to Westeros?
So you're saying she's like the Kamala Harris of King's Landing?
I mean,
she's becoming that.
Yeah, she's becoming that. No, she really is. Yeah, she really is. Where you're like, oh my gosh, do I really want this person ruling? Like, you know who I see doing a better job? Her son, because he's the one great. He's like, you know what? I don't care that my mom wants me out of danger. Blah blah blah. I need to go get people and I need to go make deals. And he went off, and that's exactly what he did. And I'm like, wow, good kid. He's a strong kid. So yeah, I don't know. That's why I say I like Rhaenys, and I'm really sad that she's gone because she's everything that Rhaenyra should have been. I think Rhaenys would have actually been a better queen than Viserys was a king. And I know a lot of people like Viserys, but that's my opinion. Because Viserys was also very like, nah, let's all get along, you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing because, you know, Rhaenys at least had Rhaenyra's back. You know, like that could have been a really strong kind of like, let me be your consigliere instead of, the French chick with the kiss. I mean, it's all right, but now I think about what you're saying. Yeah, these are not good character moves, and this is the writing. I mean, the acting's fine.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely the writing. And yeah, that's what I like about Rhaenys. That was another point to her too, is that look at how much she stood up for Rhaenyra. She literally went and told people all the time, like, this is your queen. You guys need to respect her and you guys need to follow orders. Mm-hmm. And no one ever questioned Rhaenys.
No, not even Daemon.
No, not even Daemon.
Daemon tried to check her. She's like,
Yeah.
what you
Remember
doing,
when he was like, you need to get back on your dragon. You need to go patrol. And she's like,
Yeah,
oh,
she was
yeah,
like-
would it that you were the king? And she
Right.
walked away. I was like, that's my girl. I want to grow up to be Rhaenys.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Fantastic actress. Yeah, I didn't like her ending, man. I mean, cinematically it was cool, but story-wise, it would have been nice for her to have that happen like at the big battle where everyone just all right. I know we've belabored this enough, Fletcher. I had to get on and talk to Lily about
Sorry,
it.
Fletcher.
It's all right. It's all
I'll
right.
let you guys
There's a
go.
lot of passionate dragon riders.
Yes, it's because, see, this is the thing. We want this stuff to be good. That's why we're passionate about it. And that's why I'm upset that they're bloating it with so much stuff that you don't need, because this show
it looks like they're trimming the stuff that shouldn't be trimmed, and they're extending the stuff that makes no sense. It's only there for whatever, like you said, the actress wanted this scene and she thought that this was be a yes queen move, and then they did it, but it doesn't expound on the universe. It doesn't, like you said, better to make the votes, better make the dragon riders, give us the intrigue behind what's going on with the town folks. But they decided, no, let's, it's really good to have this kiss out of nowhere that, it's out of character.
Yeah, that was weird.
But one thing that, go ahead.
And like we already have a situation going on like that, like with Alicent and Cole, where you see how that's also gonna cause drama. So I don't know if they're setting it up for Miss Arya and Rhaenyra to also have drama, especially when Daemon comes back and maybe finds out about it. But I don't know. I just thought it was awkward, because it's like somebody telling me some tragic story and then you try to get intimate and it's like, okay, like what? Why did that happen? Like,
I mean, on the other hand, broken people, they do that. They do that. They do hook up like that. Not me.
But it wasn't Miss Arya who started it, though. That's the issue that I have, is that it was Rhaenyra.
It was the actor's choice. It wasn't in the script.
But like,
right? And now was
no
the
one
actor
thought
that brought
about
it up
it. Yeah, the thing is that nobody on set thought about that, and they weren't like, you know what, guys, this is kind of out of character. This is gonna make Rhaenyra look really bad, because that's the complaint that I've seen. It's not necessarily that, oh no, they're starting to put like all this gay stuff into. No, nobody has an issue with that. That's the complaint that I've seen, is that Rhaenyra's creepy now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What you got next, Fletcher?
Well, what's not creepy?
I'm gonna head on out of here, because I did see this movie and I want to spoil it for everybody. But this really fast. If you can take that off real fast. But the kind of discussions that we've just had, this is the kind of great discussions you want with your Star Wars. See, we haven't had this type of juicy conversations and discussions and disagreements with Star Wars in years. This is good stuff. So thank you, Lily.
You're welcome. I'm like getting all angry. I'm like, I just want this TV show to be good.
And that's a good thing, because you want fans to like what you're putting out. And the sad part is now you're starting to disappoint fans, and they're starting to disappoint normies, which is the biggest thing, because once you disappoint fans, most of the time they're still there. But when you start disappointing normies, woo, it's not there. They're not going to be there.
Well, that's the thing that's happening. Like, I'm a fan. I'm still going to watch it. I'm still going to watch season 3. But a lot of normies, like I said in my replies, are just like, I'm out. It's really boring. I don't understand what's happening. I'm out of here. And that's bad, because I'm pretty sure you need a lot of normies to kind of bump up the ratings and your viewing and all that kind of stuff. So,
and bring new people in.
yeah, because word of mouth. That was what happened during season 1, is that all of us were super burned by Game of Thrones, that everybody was like, I'll give it a chance, but only because I've been a fan. And then we saw that it was fantastic, told everybody, and that's where their ratings started to go up, because everybody was like, yeah, oh wow, like this show is so good, and they actually like fixed everything. And now season 2, it's like,
spoke too soon.
Yeah,
Spoke too soon. Well,
yeah,
one thing
I saw those comments too. A lot of people were like, I told you guys.
Told you, son.
Everybody was like,
They got too cocky. Gonna mess it up again.
But yeah. Anyway,
Well,
sorry. So Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, so Deadpool y Wolverine. A ver. Deadpool y Wolverine, escenas de la alfombra roja en estreno mundial. Esta semana fue la lanzación mundial de Deadpool y Wolverine, la más anticipada película de Marvel que está en estos tiempos. Acá nos podemos ver a Ryan Reynolds, a Blake Lively, su esposa me parece, y Gigi Hadid y Hugh Jackman. Now, yo no sé de esto, pero Gigi Hadid es una modelo, ¿no, Lily?
Yeah, she's a model.
And she's with Hugh Jackman?
No, she's not. That's what confused me about this Reddit.
Right?
Carpet. Yeah, he's actually still like.
He's married, right?
It looks like he might be divorced. Yeah, he's divorced. Dang, he was with his wife from 1996 to 2023.
That sucks.
But him and Gigi are not dating.
So is Gigi just a friend of Blake Lively?
I guess, but this is really confusing as to why they would show up all matchy-matchy. Maybe they are dating and Hugh Jackman doesn't want to say something.
You heard the tea here first, folks.
Let me see if I can find who.
All right.
I mean, supposedly they are dating.
What?
It says, here's why Gigi Hadid and Hugh Jackman dating rumors have emerged.
What? Ooh. I guess they're pulling out the red carpet and the yellow carpet. Because did you know it was a yellow and red carpet?
I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, you wouldn't just show up and pose if it was just Blake Lively's friend.
Right? Huh.
And she showed up in the Wolverine yellow.
Right. So they're hinting at something without hinting at something. Quienes asistieron al estreno mundial de Deadpool y Wolverine en Nueva York, no se pierda el evento de imágenes. Las estrellas de Deadpool y Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman y Emma Corrin, se reunieron con varios compañeros del elenco y celebridades de la ciudad de Nueva York el lunes por la noche para el estreno mundial de la película en alfombra roja. Acá tenemos a Emma Corrin, que ella es la villana, right? I think, yes, Cassandra Nova me parece que es la hermana gemela del fundador del X-Men, Charles Xavier, la villana principal de la película. Y acá tenemos los productores. Y también Aaron Stanford, que interpreta el villano Pyro. Si te acuerdan antes, él también estaba en los films de Fox, que son los X-Men films, que parece que hay bastantes estrenos. Si miran el video de Pauly en Latinoslat, en latinoslat.com, él tiene va a tener todo un spoiler mañana, me parece, o hoy después. Ahí va, y no miren a X todo el día, porque si van a ver la película en X, todos los spoilers están a tus manos. Acá tenemos a Daphne King y también a esta señora que es una gran, en un gran papel en la película, Leslie Huggins. She's amazing, isn't she, Lily?
Yeah, I love her.
She is amazing.
She's hilarious. I love her.
She has such good like comic timing. It's like, wow. So it looks like there's going to be a lot of people. There we have Hildebrand, one of the fan favorites, la que tiene el papel de Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Y,
Oh
en
my
verdad,
gosh, I don't think I've ever seen her with hair.
right? She's got like a little bit of hair going on and stuff, and it was pretty good. And then we have Morena Bacardi, que sea Vanessa, que sean los últimos dos Deadpool. Estuvo Madonna. She looks horrible.
Madonna. That's probably why she's wearing those.
But the best part, boom, Lily.
Dog pool.
Peggy el perrito aparece en la variedad de Deadpool Dog Pool. I can't believe they actually had them. Do you see the little shoes?
Of course. And I think that
Little shoes.
Ryan Reynolds wouldn't stop carrying the dog around. Look, guys, it's Peggy. It's dog pool. Oh my god, I love it. And I love the little outfit, the little shoes. That's so cute. I approve of this dog.
Yeah, no. I saw there's a bunch of different things that the theaters are trying to do to get people, to go check it out, and different things to make money. And one of the things that I saw that you had posted was this popcorn bucket craze. And you guys have seen the popcorn bucket of Deadpool versus Wolverine. It's one of those face. See, I think I could pull it up, and it has the whole like crazy mouth thing, and it's a little bit lewd. But this is the popcorn bucket that they're pushing out there. But you were saying something about this, Lily, because remember you had posted, and I'm going to share it, was the alien popcorn bucket. Because these things are going insane. These popcorn buckets are going nuts. This is the alien popcorn bucket, guys. Lily had reposted this on X. Follow her on X, because, man, she is on fire. So this thing is the popcorn bucket for the Alien film. And these things are just going nuts, Lily. I mean, what? This thing is crazy. I mean, what the heck is even that?
That would be cool to have, like,
yeah, just have it like a thing, right?
Yeah, like in your room to show off a collection stuff, but a popcorn bucket, I don't think so.
Yeah, this whole popcorn bucket thing has been going crazy. I saw like a bunch of things in the I know it's like daddy chill. Popcorn bucket is a little too much.
And when the Wolverine one for Deadpool Wolverine came out, I think it would have been funnier if the whole Dune thing hadn't happened.
Right.
I think that they purposely made this one like this because of the Dune bucket.
Right.
And they were like, ha ha ha, guys, why don't we make ours like all obscene too, purposely? But because Dunes had already existed by accident, I don't think the Wolverine one hit as much. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, and then it had me looking like, some, I didn't even notice other movies had it. Did you see that? Like, this is the Kung Fu Panda one. Did you see this one? It's like isn't it? It's like a Chinese takeout.
Because some of the popcorn buckets are actually pretty cool. Like, I actually have some. I collect the ones that I actually like. So I do have some of them. Like if I can get my hands on the alien one, I'm buying it for sure. Because that would be cool just to have like in a collection room.
Yeah. I mean, the only one I have the John Wick one that came with the gold coins. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if. And then this was, I guess, the Avatar one. It's more like a salad bowl.
A popcorn bowl. See, that one makes sense for you to have at home. So that's
right, and it lights up when you're
Mhm.
watching it.
I like the cup. That's cute.
The cup is good. Oh, there was a few cups also that made the rounds, and I think the ones in Korea, and they had some in South America that are really cool. I'll check them out a little later. But another thing that they're doing, I believe, is this whole controller thing, to where they have all these controllers that they're trying to also pass off. I mean, whenever you get a little bit of money coming in, you're gonna try to milk it for all it's worth. And what Marvel should be doing, which is getting money out of all this press. But we got Jesus Devilas with a member for 6 months. Thank you so much, Jesus. The Wolverine Pocket Bucket is exclusive at AMC Theater in case anyone wanted one. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah, I did see that it's only AMC, and I think other ones are doing something a little bit different. But you guys got AMC over there, Lily?
Yes, we do.
All right, mine it's super far away, so I don't think. And Jesus, thank you so much, because I think last week you gave us a super chat, but we didn't get to thank you. So because the stream kind of ended out, so we want to thank you right now. Muchas gracias, Jose. Jesus, we really appreciate you not only being a member, but also your super chat last week. Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, they were showing this controller, which was a little bit. They're going for the obscene thing, so it's.
My controller's funny. I actually want one.
Did you see it?
Yeah. So you actually have your choice now. You can get a Deadpool one, or you can get the Wolverine one.
Right. So Wolverine Hugh Jackman fans can get their hands on his buttons if Ryan Reynolds isn't in your bag. So these are the controller guys. If you guys can see them. And they're playable. There's not like a, this is something that's just a like a gag. Yeah, they're actually playing.
And what I like even more about it too is that it's actually removable, so that it's more comfortable if you want to play without it also. I didn't know that. I thought that that's how they came, but I saw some other pictures where it's removable, so it's more comfortable.
Yeah, this part right here, if you see it, I can zoom a little bit more. You see, guys, that part like right around the bun part, it's that part you can clip out if you don't want to be rubbing all up in your controller.
This is so funny though. I appreciate it. These I appreciate, because the popcorn buckets, I feel like they just kind of stole the idea from doing. But these, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
These ones are on the right side of the approval meter.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
But did you see this, Lily? So there's a new movie coming out pretty soon. It's called Monster Summers. Did you check this out yet?
I have not.
All right, cool. So we can check this out, guys. So this is a new movie that's coming out this year with Mel Gibson. And it's kind of reminiscent of a bunch of movies that you guys might like. So I'm going to check it out. Let's see. I'm going to put the sound a little low. Let me know if you can hear it, Lily. Can you hear that?
A little bit. It's a little low.
Okay, let me go that. Let's go. All right, so it's good. So let's see. It's all right now?
Mhm.
All right, cool.
A teenager is recovering today after nearly drowning.
Hey, Ben. Something happened to Ben that I can't explain. It's like he's a zombie at Night of the Living Dead.
You okay, bud?
Oh, why? Hey, guys, it's okay. I invited him.
Easy, fella.
It's the genie. He's a detective.
Retired. Well, there's more of you. I'm gonna have to dig a mass grave now.
Oh, we got some music in there. So you see, it's kind of more like a summer scary flick, reminiscent of you got a little E.T., you got a Stranger Things in there. What do you think so far, Lily?
I'm guessing this is going to be more like geared towards teenagers for the summer.
Yeah. Especially with all the Stranger Things stuff that's being pushed out. I think what was the other one? The Goosebumps. I think that they were trying to do more of that teenage kind of summer campy thing.
Yeah, this looks like a teenager type of movie.
So that's going to be October 4,
Monster
guys.
Summer, but it's not coming out in summer.
It's summer in some countries.
They should have released it during the summer when all the teenagers are actually not in school.
That would have been good, right? But they're not thinking too.
Yeah, because I don't think I'm the demographic for this. I don't think we're the demographic for this. It's not. It looks like it's more like a Babysitter's Club type of thing, but with monsters. So, yeah.
Well, the one that is coming out, I think it's coming out in October also, but it's not something for kids. Did you see that Terrifier? Have you seen any of those?
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to the third one.
See, I knew it. So did you see the trailer yet?
I don't think I've seen the new one, but yeah,
All
these
right.
movies are so psychotic.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Turn it down a little. Third installment, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, these movies are so psychotic, but for some reason, I like them. They're so weird. I think it's because Art the Clown is so like when you have scary movies,
Right.
usually like your person that's doing all the killing is like very serious and very scary and very like, whereas Art the Clown is laughing the entire time and it's like, wow, this guy is super crazy. It's so weird.
No, I'm not really very knowledgeable about this. I just know that it's kind of like, you have the killer clown style slasher, right?
Yeah.
What were the first two like? Is this kind of like following supposedly the
So this, believe it or not, this character already has a lot of lore. So
What?
if you've seen a lot, like Damon, the director, he put out, I guess it was really popular at the time when you would do like anthology series,
Yeah.
and it would be like little clips of different horror things. So he made one of those where it was different clips of different creepy things happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Art the Clown just kind of fascinated a lot of people that he put him in another anthology and kind of expanded on his like story, I guess, a little bit more. And people just couldn't get enough of Art the Clown. So finally he decided to make like an entire movie around Art the Clown. So that's where we got Terrifier 1. And you kind of get introduced to his character, and like he's just freaking psychotic. And then that one I would also say was more didn't really have too much of a plot per se. It was just basically the clown just being psychotic with people on Halloween. And then part 2 was where you started to see a little bit more stories. So Terrifier 2 finally establishes this as an actual story that's happening. And so now the third one kind of continues the story as well, because the girl that you see in the clips, she was in the second part, and she was kind of the only person who could like defeat Art the Clown. So I guess we're going to see a continuation of their story, but it just trips me out so much that like he's laughing while he's doing the most psychotic, heinous things and just laughing through it. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's crazy. He's
So this is basically Joker horror.
Basically. And what I appreciate about the director is that he has like a bigger budget now, because these movies, obviously, like horror movies always bring in a lot of money because the budgets are pretty low usually. And from what it looks like, he's sticking to that style, and he hasn't made it look like, okay, guys, now we're going to do CGI. Now I have a bunch of money, so everything's going to be CGI. Like, no, he sticks to like practical effects, which are so crazy when you see them. Like all the gore is just insane, but he does practical effects. He kind of gives it this, like, to me, it feels like an 80s type of vibe to it. 80s, kind of early 90s, that he gives. It gives kind of that look to the movie, so I kind of appreciate that too. But I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be taking place like in present time, like our time, but it just has the look and feel of like an 80s movie, early 90s like slasher movie.
Yeah, because the budget supposedly is like less than 50. So
yeah,
it's like from 30 to 50 was the first one, I guess. So they
the
don't.
budgets are super low. So he kind of sticks to that, and I appreciate it because it is cohesive with everything that he's making, but it's not for everybody, definitely. When I first saw it, I was like,
what is this, right?
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. So I like horror movies. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I'll give it a shot. So I had seen the anthology ones first, and I was like, okay, yeah, that is kind of creepy. I don't know what's going on. So when they released this one, I was like, okay, I'm curious. Let me watch it. After that, I'm like, okay, I actually like these movies. There might be something wrong with me. I don't know. But I like them.
Well, just so you guys know, Latinos are like one of the #1 market for like horror movies all around the world. I think us, the Japanese and the Koreans, I think literally like we are the ones who watch most horror movies anywhere in the world. And this movie, the first movie, guys, just to give you an example, if you guys haven't watched it, and I know that Sanders said, "What? That's budget Pennywise." Well, actually, that is true because the budget is very Pennywise. The budget for this thing is like $40 million. The first one make over $400 million. I mean, that's a Disney movie. It's insane for less than an episode of The Acolyte.
The budget for Terrifier 3 is $2 million.
What? This guy's
$2 million.
he's going backwards. He's going
Terrifier.
backwards.
Terrifier 2 was 250,000 budget.
I can't.
Yeah,
how
250,000.
How many acolytes is that?
Oh my god.
That's the catering. Wait a minute, guys. This is
Yeah,
the catering for one shot of the acolyte.
Terrifier. You know what? Let me just go back. Terrifier 1. Let's see. $35,000. 35.
That's what it was. $35,000. I thought it was 30 million. That's insane.
Yeah, $35,000 for the first one. 250,000 for the second one, and this last one, Terrifier 3, is $2 million.
And he's gonna make at least a few hundred million, guaranteed.
So that's why he's making a bunch of money.
Right. Imagine that, guys. The studios, take notice. Get guys like this who can make a movie for less than $1 million, less than $100,000, and basically give him all your money and just let him do whatever the heck he wants to do.
Isn't that crazy?
Because crazy Latinos like Lily and her whole family are gonna go check it out, and
Just
be
me.
like, they're gonna be there like the first. Are you gonna dress up, Lily?
No.
That'd be funny if everybody dresses up like Christmas.
Oh my gosh, no! I don't. For horror movies, I don't think people should be dressing up. That's just
That's
you
just
never
wrong.
know who's.
Okay,
Yeah,
cross
you
the
never
line.
know. You never know who's actually a little crazy. So no, please don't dress up for horror movies. Oh, Terrifier 2 made $15.7 million at the box office.
That's insane. Yeah, the guys.
So what did I say? Out of a 250,000 budget,
Yeah.
they flew over.
Yeah, they're printing money. And we bring this up, guys, because this is what Hollywood is missing. I mean, we can go check out this kind of stuff. We can go have fun, and it doesn't really matter the budget or how much you guys think or the movie star that you think is going to go. You can still make great stuff, and it could be wacky. It could be out of the norm, and people will still go check it out. And this is proof of that. I think it's pretty crazy. But on the other hand,
to get a little more controversial, Long Legs, the budget was $10 million. And I feel like there was less going on in that movie. In most places, I guess I can see where they used it, the CGI, I guess, but $10 million for Long Legs, and this one's only $2 million.
And you're paying for the, of course you got good star power, but it doesn't really put it up as far as what you're actually making back probably in the long run.
And you're right, because there are no big name stars in these movies, and people still watch them.
Yeah, still don't watch it. And especially, boom, boom, us Latinos here in Midnight's Edge Espanol, the Espanol side really are into horror movies. And crazy. You guys don't even know. I mean, it's insane how many horror files are in the Latino community. And this movie, I think, is going to make bank because a lot of people are looking forward to it. I was like, man, this is coming out. I think everybody was like, what? It's coming out. And I'm like, man, you guys don't know. You better not sleep on Terrifier.
And it's but yeah, make sure you have a really good stomach because
it's gory. Yeah, practical gore. Yes.
It's not even I'm trying to find something else to compare it to, but I don't think there is anything else.
No.
It's so gory. And what we mean by gory is not oh man, someone gets something chopped off and that's where it ends. No. It's a psychotic amount of detail that art does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like like the old school, like what was it, like Chainsaw Massacre style stuff, like the Hills Have Eyes type. But then he like
Not
cranks it
even
up to
um
like what is
million.
like Toxic Avenger style, like buckets of blood thing.
Yeah, because usually when they do like these the kill scenes, they cut it somewhere, right? So you don't get to see it actually happening. This one
Shows you.
it shows you exactly what he's doing, and you're like, okay. Like there was a scene where in Terrifier 2 where even I was like, can this end already? I don't know how much more I can take.
So what would be the popcorn bucket of this, Lily?
Oh my gosh, probably like a head.
A head, and all the popcorn would be red. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, forget it. But speaking of having like a good budget to having like a completely bad budget, or should we say like bloated budget, do you know that the vision is gonna actually be fulfilled, Lily?
No.
Yes. Speaking of taking money and just like from somebody who knows how to spend money to somebody who I mean, this is the thing I don't get. Maybe you guys, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna offend any Snyder bros, but what wasn't he given money? He's like on August 2nd, experience Rebel Moon the way I envisioned it. Didn't you have all the money to envision it, Wood?
Yeah.
Did you see this thing?
I did, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna play the audio, guys.
Oh, you mean the trailer? No, I haven't seen the
You
trailer.
haven't seen it?
No,
Well,
I think I saw it and I skipped it. I was like, here we go again.
right. It's like it's one of those things where you're like, oh. Seeing it, like I says, like that's the thing. That's it. Why didn't just release your actual cut? What exactly are you trying to get by this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of the same, guys. Whoops, you gotta.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
That's what
It's like a Milky, but the other thing though with this, Lee, it does actually look like it's a bit of a different movie.
It does, and that's what I was
Right?
about to say. Is that this is a movie that I would be more interested in watching than the trailers for the first ones. The trailers for the first ones, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, just so are you gonna?
Makes sense. Is because they cut out all of this stuff. If that makes sense.
No. Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood. Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness. Yeah. Story by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder did the catering. Directed by Zack Snyder. Tacos by Zack Snyder. So August 2nd, we're going to get Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. It's the director's cut.
This is funny. Somebody said, where is it? The director's cut of the Snyder cut.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's the director's cut of the Snyder cut.
Oh my god, freaking Zack Snyder! He's made a lot of movies I like.
Yeah, bigger, longer, cut, slower.
Yes, way slower. He's made some movies I really enjoy, so I can't knock him too much. But he definitely needs somebody to tell him no.
Yeah, he's George Lucas without Marshall Lucas.
Yeah.
It's like,
and one of my favorite movies of his is actually a movie that everybody hates, and I'm like, well, I love it, so I don't care. I don't know if you ever saw it, Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah. I remember watching Sucker Punch, and I was trying to say, could I get my wife to watch this? And then I was like, yeah, I can't. It's because I'm like, oh, it's
everybody complains about it. Everybody complains about it. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is cool. I like it. Of course.
I mean, it's got some cool visuals. I mean, the girl, fighting the giant samurai.
I think people had an issue with it because, well, from what I've seen, people had issues with it because they were trying to tell like a female empowering kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Zack Snyder did it well, though. I don't think he pushed it too far where you're like, oh, really? Because if you think about it, you know how it was kind of happening in two different, like the real world, and then what they were imagining what was happening.
Right.
So I was like,
Because this one, look at this scene right here. That's Barry Sucker Punch.
yes, yeah, it is.
You know, that's literally almost the same kind of thing where when the main lady fights the giants and stuff. So yeah, I mean, that's where it is. It is good visuals. All the visuals they look pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think on that one? Are you guys gonna be excited to see? The funny thing is that we're probably gonna have to see this one now because you're like, well, you have to see what the true vision is. But did you know? So part 1 is gonna be 3 hours and 24 minutes. And the part 2 is 2 hours and 53 minutes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Zack Snyder, why do you do this?
Why?
Oh my god.
You're finally gonna get his true vision, Lily. Yeah, it's just.
I know. Usually when I'm watching movies over 3 hours long, it's the Lord of the Rings extended cuts, which
So a good
I can't
movie.
sit through, but this.
Well, this is going to be, as Mahler said, prepare to witness Zack Snyder's true vision.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that's Snyder. Well, had one thing that I thought maybe you would get a kick out of, and it's that Barbie unveils. Did you see this?
Oh
First
my gosh,
blind Barbie and first black Barbie with Down syndrome.
I get they want to be more inclusive, so I mean, have at it, Barbie. I think they already had a Down syndrome Barbie, right?
Did they?
I think
I don't
so.
know. But now it's a black Down syndrome Barbie.
Yeah.
It's more inclusion.
I mean,
couldn't all the Barbies be blind?
It's kind of hard to critique Barbie because Barbie has been everything.
Right.
So that's kind of their brand. So I guess I can't knock it too hard. Even though it might seem a little ridiculous to us, but I mean, they are for children. If you have a disability as a child and you have a doll with the same disability, I mean, to you, that might mean everything. So I can't knock Barbie for being inclusive.
Well, there you have it, guys. Barbie inclusive, good. But what do you got going on, Liz?
Oh my gosh. Well, just make sure that you catch us here every Wednesday.
Yes.
We're gonna be wrapping up all the stuff that's happening throughout the week. And of course my rants for House of the Dragon. Don't miss those. Hopefully episode 7 picks up so that I don't have to rant about it so much. What else? And then, of course, Dames and Dorks every Thursday, 8 Eastern time. So make sure you guys don't miss that either. All the links and everything is always going to be on my Twitter. So just follow me over there and you'll know like what's happening.
Yeah. So follow Lily on Twitter I will put the
Some
link
more
down below so you
some
guys
more-
check it out.
Trash fires happening all over my Twitter. Still.
And with that, guys, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Make sure you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed to the channel, por favor, le dan una suscripción. Es gratuita. Y considera ser un miembro. Y con eso, ahora es tiempo para unos Chihuahuas in Spain. Bye-bye.
Chihuahuas in Spain. Chihuahua in Spain. No fluff given. Chihuahuas. Chihuahuas. Chihuahua.